In case you are new here, there's only one thing you need to know about this place. And that is this. Winning is all that matters here. Not the game you are playing, not the reputation which precedes you. Just winning. Anything less will be ignored. The rules of today's competition remain the same as last event. 2 players will compete head-to-head in a best-of-7 Rocket League series. The winner will receive $1,000 and an invitation to the next event. The loser will go home with nothing. Today's new contestant comes to us straight from the top of the global 1 versus 1 leaderboards, where he stands as one of the strongest ones players in the modern era. But today, Flakes will need all the help he can get. Across from him sits our 3-time champion, a player whose grasp on the game is so strong that winning seems all but guaranteed, regardless of the opponent. This is the legend, best known as Fairy Peak.
Welcome back to the LOR Games, where we have another $1,000 on the line, and the 4th chance for Fairy Peak to be dethroned. His opponent this week is Flakes, who is coming in from a groundswell of community support. Flakes has had himself a monumental few months after being announced as a new complexity 3rd, while also making a blistering run through Bluey, OSM and Cooksir in the Manfield 5K Gauntlet. But today, he faces the current LOR Games champion, Fairy Peak, who dominated K-Dub's kickoffs a fortnight ago to carry himself to his 3rd straight LOR Games win. Commentary from today's Best of 7 action comes from Johnny Boy.
Game 1, Flakes versus Fairy Peak. Let's see if Flakes can do what so far no one else has been able to do, has beat Fairy Peak in the LOR Games. And your eyes do not deceive you, that is Fairy Peak in the Dominus, and he slots in the first shot for 1-0 with his new car. Flakes going a bit high on this challenge, did not make sufficient contact to keep Fairy Peak back, and it's a strong start to Fairy's game despite the fact that he's changed car. Love the style he's gone for, somewhat reminiscent of Cooksir back in the day, although it's not the same decal. I expect to see much of the same play style from Fairy Peak, despite the fact that he's changed car. The fact that it's a longer car, just like the Batmobile, should give him pretty similar hitbox and strategies. Flakes trying to snipe that bottom right corner, and he does! What an angle by Flakes, who didn't have too much of an angle to work with, but he slots it in. Either way, Fairy Peak's lead is gone for the time being. Still strong kickoff so by Fairy. He's got a chance to pressure this one, but Flakes beats him to it. What speed by Flakes, and it might just be going straight in. It certainly is now. 2-1 for Flakes. Fairy Peak's overstepped the marker after that kickoff. He thought he could get there first. Flakes was just a bit too quick on the turnaround in the back corner. Great touch there by Flakes to keep Fairy Peak back. He's almost on-goaled Flakes. Uses his own post to keep it out. Love that first touch that he made to knock the ball away from Fairy Peak after the kickoff had happened. He needs to be very careful in the following few seconds. Fairy Peak does have boost advantages like that. Fairy has been going pretty straight down the middle with most of his dribbles so far, and that's something we're seeing from him recently, more so than we're used to in the past. He's always been one for going side to side on his dribbles and trying to get the defender on the wrong foot, but so far it's just going straight down the middle at Flakes. He's been able to rebound the majority of Fairy Peak's offense without too much difficulty. Fairy's in a bit of an awkward spot here, but there's plenty of the field to aim at, so he doesn't need to worry about passing the ball to Flakes. Flakes just crushes him in the 50-50. It's 3-1. What a challenge by Flakes. Fairy Peak was sitting behind the ball here, expecting that Flakes wouldn't man up and come in like that. That's exactly what Flakes has done. He's really bringing the game to Fairy so far, which won't come as too much of a surprise to anyone who's been following Flakes recently. He has been on pretty big rise to the top of not just Rocket League 1v1, but 2v2 and 3v3 as well. Every game mode starting to pop off for this guy, and he escapes Fairy Peak's demo and puts in a 4th goal. This is starting to become very one-sided in the first game. And it's just been solid challenges from Flakes that have opened up this lead. Fairy Peak's going to have to do more. To either get more behind the ball on his 50-50s, or look for another option, maybe just trying to get the ball over Flakes instead of through him, because going straight through him has not worked so far. So just over half the game to figure it out. Full volley, Fairy Peak back in it with a 2nd goal. Flakes was faking a challenge, but Fairy Peak did not pop the ball too far on the first touch. He kept it nice and close, and the full volley was far too powerful for Flakes to keep up with. And that's 3 goals for Fairy. This is the danger when you're against a player like him. You give him one, he could just get another one immediately afterwards. Such a high conversion rate on his strong kickoff plays. That might just be another one. Flakes had a 3-goal lead, and it is gone. In a matter of seconds, Fairy Peak's back in the game. I wonder if Flakes is going to start mixing up his kickoff a bit, because at the moment, Fairy Peak is crushing every single one of them. He decides not to go up the wall here. Another volley for Fairy Peak. Not as powerful as the last one, which worked, but the follow-up is, and Flakes still saves it. Great goalkeeping by Flakes. Fairy Peak had him in a rough spot, but he's come out of it with a goal, as well as the save on Fairy Peak's shot. It was after a previous shot from Fairy. Great recovery. Flakes making himself as big as possible there to get maximum coverage of his goal. Fairy Peak trails yet again. Flakes just a bit of a love tap there to force Fairy Peak back into the corner. Plenty of boost on Flakes. And Fairy Peak is coming straight down the middle. These shots shouldn't be too difficult for Flakes to save. He does use the crossbar to help him out that time. I want to see more angle changes by Fairy Peak if he's going to keep dribbling straight at Flakes. I feel like Flakes is saving most of these shots, and he does convert the counter-attack this time by doing just that. He switches it up, goes right, and then flicks the ball to the left as Fairy Peak comes in for the challenge. Flakes showing Fairy Peak how it's done there. 45 seconds left. Flakes finally wins a kickoff. Fairy Peak doesn't have to do much to get him to pass the ball to him, but hold on a second, that's almost another goal for Flakes. He's got a horrible landing though. Fairy Peak thinking about the open net shot. Flakes gets back in time. Still 90 seconds left in game 1. Flakes look for another goal, and he gets one. Some very speedy recoveries. How did Flakes get back in position after this? Look at that, he's turtled and then flipped back around, got the softest touch on the ball and popped it over Fairy Peak's challenge. And this is something we've seen from Flakes in the past. He loves to go for these turtling moves in the middle of his dribble. Sometimes shoots it with the turtle flick, sometimes just continues dribbling. No one else really does it quite like he does. But Fairy Peak still in with a good shot, making game 1 tense in the final minute. It's 2 goals in it. Fairy Peak trying to race back, does not get there in time to save Flakes' kickoff goal. It's a bit of revenge there for Flakes, as Fairy Peak's had the better kickoffs for most of the game. Flakes does get one directly into Fairy Peak's net. You know Fairy Peak is going to up the tempo if he still needs goals towards the end of this one. But once again, the linear dribble not working out for Fairy Peak. He's gone straight at Flakes, and Flakes has managed to save it. It's not for the first time this match. Again, Flakes stops Fairy Peak's direct shot. Time is ticking away. Flakes might get in control of the ball here. No, Fairy Peak will close the distance. Flakes had second thoughts about that challenge. Still, Flakes looking solid in defense. With a long shot here, he might make it 4-goal difference. Fairy Peak looks like he's going to save it. But he needs to grab the ball, get it under his control. He's going to have any chance of winning this game 1. A must-score offensive play for Fairy, and he's going straight down the middle again. Is it going to work this time? Once again, Flakes gets in the way of it, and it does not find the back of the net. Fairy Peak with a super low success rate on his dribbles for game 1. Wonder if he's going to change this up. Look for more angled plays in the second game. So at the moment, Flakes is looking like the better player. He's got Fairy Peak's offense under control, and he's scored plenty of goals. 9 past Fairy in the first game. Flakes with the grounded play takes game 1.
A very patient display from Flakes in game 1, as he spotted that Fairy's control isn't what it usually is, and continually picked him off on the counter. But for Fairy, a disappointing game 1 isn't really new to him, and with 62% possession, you'd expect him to find his rhythm very quickly.
Game 2, Flakes versus Fairy Peak. Flakes starting off strong. Fairy Peak's going to start off game 2 strong by the looks of things. And this time he does throw a bit of an angle into his dribble and reaps the immediate reward. 1-0 Fairy. Strong kickoff play yielding strong possession plays once again, and it's another one for Fairy Peak. See how quickly he can recycle this one. It looks like he will have to get the ball past to 100 boost Flakes. Flakes steps into the danger zone that time. Manages to get Fairy Peak to flick early. Another early flick by Fairy. This time leading into a boost steal. Flakes trying to get Fairy Peak to pull the trigger early just so that he can have an easier time saving these shots. And he does look like he's got things barely under control. This is not an ideal situation if you're Flakes. Fairy Peak is stealing every single corner boost. That's leaving Flakes in a rough spot. Defensively, he's doing well though. He's holding on. Lots of time is passing here with Fairy Peak in control of the ball and the boost. But Flakes does not concede, and as soon as he breaks free, it looks like he will tie the game. No, Fairy Peak with an outrageous save. What a save by Fairy. It looked like Flakes had tied it up. But he's going to have to work harder than that. Flakes, hopefully for his sake, not too shaken after that one. He's just going to stay focused. He's right back into defensive play. Many players would do this against Fairy, and this is why Fairy Peak is so good at getting shots just underneath the crossbar, lifting this one up with a backflip. And it looked like it was going to be 1-1 not moments ago, but Fairy Peak extends the lead to 2 goals. Just over a minute into the game. And Flakes wins the kickoff. Doesn't get the shot off fast enough to stop Fairy Peak from grabbing 100 boosts in the corner. Should mean that Fairy will be on the counter attack now, but Flakes is back. More boost steals for Fairy Peak, and every time that he's forcing Flakes up high with a shot, he does steal the corner boost once again. Flakes' corner boost is gone. You see that he's pathing over small boost pads pretty well though. Fairy Peak low flick, but it will go high into the top corner. Let's pick this one up almost off the ground. Great stuff there by Fairy. Didn't jump high into this one at all, but he's really rocketed it across the goal. 3-0 now. Flakes struggling in game 2. Fairy Peak might have found his stride. So far we're pretty even. 2 kickoffs, 1 apiece. Fairy Peak has been able to break free from Flakes' pressure play instantly after Flakes has won both the kickoffs that he did. Flakes not showing quite as much capability to break free from Fairy Peak's constricting style of offense. It just doesn't let you have any openings or any boost for that matter. Now that Flakes has been in defense for so long, a lot of the game time is disappearing. That's game time that he needs for his potential comeback. Airball shot for Fairy is too good, and he's done exactly what he had to do. I love that he's switched up his dribbling style. It was far too linear, far too straight down the middle at Flakes in the last game. There's been nothing like that in game 2. Lots of switch up side to side, getting Flakes to be side on to the ball. It's a big part of getting the ball past him. Flakes decides to go for the boost, but he can't escape the demo. He was trying to. Fairy Peak hunts him down, and again, he has got a bit of an angle to work with, and his shot is threatening, but still saved by Flakes. You know, I'm attributing all these possession plays and pressure plays from Fairy to this new dribbling that he's doing. He's not giving Flakes many chances to get clean interceptions and then take control. Flakes just sneaks one past Fairy Peak in the midfield here though. And it's got 1 goal back. First goal of the game there for Flakes. 1-4 now. Fairy Peak's looking for him. He can't see Flakes behind him, so he knows he has to be in the other corner. Good recovery there by Fairy. Flying down just to get to the ball that bit faster again. Flakes is still playing super defensive. in this game deciding to rush in just yet. He knows that there's a little bit of time to wait and see if Fairy Peak will misplay. As unlikely as that does seem. Flakes switches sides, tries to surprise Fairy, but I think he surprised himself more than Fairy that time. There is the aggression of Flakes, but he's missed the ball. Fairy Peak gets another goal, almost for free, as Flakes came in early, and it's the first early challenge that he's gone for all game. And he misses it, completely whiffing the ball. He might have his own goal there. That's going to hit the outside of the post, but Flakes in a bit of a rough spot in game 2. That shot not going to make it past Fairy Peak, who is respawning in time. Now Flakes is just over a minute to score 4 goals. Fairy Peak is popping the ball over Flakes' net again and again. Great bump by Flakes. He landed on top of Fairy to prevent Fairy from scoring an easy rebound. He's got to do more than that. He has to score in the next few seconds if he's going to have any chance here. This is the best chance he's going to get. Flick is way too weak, but it actually makes it in somehow. Fairy Peak doesn't get the save. It looked like Fairy would save this one. His Flakes didn't hit the flick anywhere near as powerfully as we know he can, but Fairy might have been boost starved, as he didn't use any as he was attempting to save that. Flick from Flakes. More possession for Flakes. He has to try and convert this into a chance on net as quickly as possible, though still needing 3 goals. Fairy Peak is putting himself between the ball and the net. Every time that Flakes tries to find an opening, and that's some good speed by Fairy. He might have been boost starved, but not too boost starved. And he will score a 6th goal for himself, surely locking up game 2 and tying up the series. It's best of 7 for the LOR games here. Flakes is the 4th challenger to Fairy Peak's crown. Every time that Fairy Peak gets a win, he's just adding another $1,000 to his eventual winnings. Flakes, the chance today to start a streak of his own. He's going to have to try again in game 3 though, as game 2 belonged to Fairy pretty much start to finish. It started with strong goals and pressure play, and finishes with what looks like a 3-goal lead as the ball touches the ground.
If you ever need an example of how quickly Fairy can adapt, it's this game here. While Flakes tried to re-implement his counter-attack, Fairy took far fewer risks and controlled his opponent's boost for the early game. The question becomes, will Flakes stick to plan A, or is this loss enough to convince him to move on?
Here they come. Hold your positions.
I've got eyes on the target.
Do not shoot. Hold your fire. Hold. Hold. Fire.
Game 3, Flakes versus Fairy. It starts off similarly to Game 2, with Fairy Peak winning a kickoff out to the right side of the field. Flakes this time didn't have a chance to grab a 100 boost in a corner. And that lead to an extended period of pressure. Fairy Peak being in control. No, it won't, because he's going to score after not much time has been wasted. Flakes, with so much time spent in the last game, being boost starved, has decided to make a little run for that side boost, and Fairy Peak immediately punishes him. Strong shooting by Fairy at the halfway line. So far it's looking very similar to how game 2 played out. Another kickoff win for Fairy. It's letting the ball bounce a bit lower so that he doesn't hit it too high on his first touch. Flakes With a good pop there. Didn't hit the ceiling, so it stayed in the air as long as possible. Just gives him a bit more time to reposition and get ready for Fairy Peak's next offensive play. Fairy's very close to the ball there. Flakes decides not to shoot early. He's going to rebound in for the equalizer. It's so surprising to see Fairy not close the distance to the ball when he was so close. He was afraid to backflip challenge, knowing how solid Flakes is in the 50-50 situation. I would expect him still to go through with it. Shot off target by Fairy after the kickoff. Flakes managed to nudge him away from the corner boost as well. Great play by Flakes. A small margin there, deciding who would get that win the boost race. As Flakes takes it. Fairy Peak was trying to be cheeky there. Turn around quickly as Flakes was getting boost in the corner. The ball proved to be a bit too hard to control this time. Flakes with another good rebound opportunity. He's hit it straight down the middle though, and slowly at that. Fairy Peak with an easy save. A couple of weak touches there by Flakes have led to lack of a goal, and now Fairy Peak being in control, but what on earth? Flakes somehow lands on this one after it hits the crossbar and bounces down. Thought for sure he was going to lose control after it looked like he missed the ball as it was going past him. Fairy Peak comes right back from the demo and assumes ball possession once again. He's got the angles figured out, it seems. Every time he's attacking now, he's coming in sideways or a slight diagonal approach, but Flakes puts one over his head. That's great aerial speed by Flakes. To beat Fairy to the ball in the air is no small feat in a 1v1. Flakes has managed to do just that. 2-1 lead now for the underdog. The challenger, the LOR Games. 3 minutes left in this one. It's 3-0 and about half the game gone when Flakes finally broke free from the pressure that Flakes, or Fairy Peak rather, was putting on him in the last game. He's been able to prevent Fairy from squashing him into his own half for those extended periods of time so far in game 3. We'll be able to keep that up. Fairy Peak squashes one underneath him with a low 50-50. That was an absolute boomer. Flakes expecting the high flick, jumps up, and the ball goes underneath him. It's half time in the game. We're all tied up. The ball's in Flakes' half, and that should be a win for him overall, as he has 100 boost and control. Tries to just snatch at the ball there, Flakes, as it was landing. Very big, a bit all over the place at the moment. Is he going to be able to make contact? Yes, he will, but Flakes has a huge boost advantage here. The pressure continues to mount, and Flakes gets a goal. He faked a 50-50, and Fairy Peak got in the way of where he thought the shot was going to be going, but it just ended up to be more of a pass. Looks like Fairy Peak actually flip reset on the ball and dodged by accident as well, but either way, Flakes was probably scoring in that exchange. He had Fairy Peak panicking. Flakes wins another race to a boost after a kickoff. The last couple have gone in his favour. Fairy Peak steps in and accepts the pass that Flakes has shot right at him. And a great flick after the catch from Fairy will tie up the game yet again. That's just careless by Flakes. He gave away possession all too easily there. Fairy Peak's accuracy from close range is something to be quite scared of. Flakes concedes his lead. 2 minutes left in the game. Another kickoff win for Flakes. He's starting to chain together quite a few of them now. Fairy Peak scares him off it with only 15 boost in a wall shot position. Does flick early. He doesn't want to get dunked on by Flakes. He's threatening these early challenges, but Flakes is coming down the right side of the field. Side flip shot saved by Fairy. He was blocking the majority of Flakes' angles that he could have to work with there. Flakes has got to be so careful turning left into a potential demo. He thought about it, but then decided against it after realizing Fairy Peak was threatening the elimination. Also in laps, and Fairy Peak comes out with the possession play. Get a bump onto Flakes after flicking it awkwardly, but trips up Flakes landing. So we might see more extended pressure play for Fairy Peak. No, Flakes will grab 100 boost in the corner. That's huge. So he can break free immediately. Fairy Peak's back in time to make the save. The players matching each other blow for blow at the moment. 1 minute left in the game, and Fairy Peak's fired wide on a flick. That's rare. And an opportunity that Flakes has to be using to the maximum potential. It looks like he will be as the open net stares him in the face. And he rolls it in. Low 50-50 for Flakes. He absorbed Fairy's challenge really well there. With 48 seconds left, he's given himself a great chance to take a 2-1 lead in the series. Fairy Peak backs off into the corner. Flakes is going to stay with this one. Flicks it. That's a 2-goal lead for Flakes. 5-3. Fairy Peak prioritized the corner boost and was protecting his sidewall more than he was the net in that position. Really not ready for Flakes to accelerate the ball the way he did. 40 seconds left. Fairy Peak looks like he's ready to take control, but no, Flakes is the one who comes out with not just the ball control, but also Fairy Peak's back corner boost. Fairy really not getting anything at all in that exchange. Flakes is looking comfortable. He's dominated every single boost grab until that one, after getting the initial steal. And unless Fairy Peak can score with this offensive play, Flakes will be winning game number 3. Flick does get saved. It's another linear dribble for Fairy. Another unsuccessful one at that. And with the clear ball going into Fairy's half, looks like Flakes has secured game 3, and he takes the lead once again in the series against Fairy Peak. As soon as this ball touches the ground, we will go into game 4 with Flakes leading 2-1. Is he going to get another goal to celebrate with? Flip reset, no air dribble for Flakes, and the ball will go down. It's 2-1 for Flakes.
Flakes' ability to pick the perfect challenges has been a major influence on him, reaching a 2-1 scoreline, especially now that he is creeping into Fairy's side of the field more and more. For the second time this series, Fairy finishes with 0 demolitions, and his flicks still just don't look quite right to me.
Game 4, Flakes has a 2-1 lead against Fairy Peak, who's looking rattled in this matchup. Looking at what similarities there were between games 1 and 3, the 2 games which Flakes has come out victorious in, you have to look at Fairy Peak's dribbles. This game 2 was the one game where he had Flakes in really bad positions over and over again, and it involves changing the angle of the ball, changing the direction the ball's rolling in as he approaches. This time Fairy does do just that. He takes the lead 1-0. I want to see if he can keep that up in game 4. Is he going to surprise Flakes by moving the ball side to side, getting a bit of lateral movement in there? Every time Fairy's coming straight at Flakes, Flakes seems pretty comfortable. Certainly one of the best defenders in the game right now, in a solo duel position. Good control there by Flakes. No panic as the ball bounces off his back wall. Fairy Peak does not scare Flakes off the play. This time it's Flakes who's dribbling pretty straight. Fairy Peak shuts down him just as easily as Flakes has shut down Fairy in any of Fairy's straight line dribbles. Shot early by Flakes. Fairy Peak plays it really casually, very, very careful not to get dunked on while saving the ball, which was rolling on target. But Flakes is going to equalize anyway. Fairy Peak was boost starved after playing the defensive clear so conservatively. Flakes gets a goal in the following few seconds. An interesting matchup we have here. I feel like it's going to get even more interesting as we develop, because now we're far enough into the series that these two can tell exactly what kind of play style their opponent is bringing to the table today. And the player who's going to adapt the best will be reaping the rewards. That's actually a wall shot wide by Fairy. He's usually so solid and consistent at smashing those on target. Now, there was no lack of power there, but the accuracy just failed Fairy Peak. Flakes comes out on top of another awkward exchange, using the back end of the Octane to flick it over Fairy, who was thinking that he could get at least a 50-50 here, maybe even a clean win to the ball. You're not going to get that easy of a goal out of Flakes, who is making this extremely difficult for Fairy Peak to play the way that he likes to play. Being in control, dictating the pace of the match. Flakes tries to backflip flick. He doesn't get a second touch on the ball, so it will roll towards Fairy, but that's a bit of a waste of a possession by Fairy, and he gives it right back to Flakes, who is not falling for any of Fairy Peak's fake challenges at the moment. Quiet game 2, almost half the game already gone. Only 3 goals scored. Flakes has had a lot of territory to work with in this 4th match. That bodes well for him moving forwards. He had a lot of the goal covered there, so even though Fairy Peak's got it past him, it does go over the goal. Fairy Peak is getting some strong 50-50s here. Flakes with another clutch save. It might just be a goal for Flakes as well. If he can get it on target. I think he's hit it wide, but the rebound is available for Flakes, who puts it in the top corner. Fairy Peak is in a world of trouble here in this series. Flakes is popping off. What a shot at the near post. Fairy Peak didn't even try to pre-jump. He was just hoping that Flakes would hit the post and give him a free equalizer. Flakes is too consistent to be doing things like that. Now Flakes has to be careful. He doesn't want to dive in too much. He's played a more aggressive game forward than the other games in this series. Fairy Peak might start getting early flicks on the ball to counter that. He's been playing quite a few early flicks anyway. Look at this from Fairy Peak. The control from close range is just something you don't see very often in a long car. Just waits it out, uses the back end of the car for the mid-air flick this time. We've seen him execute some low flicks several times already today, but that is from a much higher angle, and he still makes it work. Boost steal for Flakes after the kickoff. Early shot gets saved by Fairy, and it's going to bounce into the midfield. So we're not going to get any straightaway rebound by Flakes. He chooses to volley it across the goal. And Flakes is trying to do what Fairy Peak was doing to great success in Game 2. Just steal every corner boost and win every race to the ball as a result. But Fairy Peak looks like he's got plenty boost from the small pads. In fact, he's already at 72. Flakes has to be really careful here. I don't know if he realizes how much boost Fairy Peak's been saving, and that's a boost missed by Flakes. He's going to get it the second time around. Luckily for him, he had time to go back a second run for the boost. Else Fairy Peak would have had a huge advantage here. 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Fairy Peak is still trailing by 1 goal. Flakes looking solid in defense. It's a fantastic demo though by Fairy. He's completely read Flakes in his defensive maneuvers and claps him on the back wall. Flakes was looking for a clean interception here, but Fairy Peak messes him up. We're all tied up with 57 seconds to go. Strong kickoff for Flakes though. That's not going to be a direct goal, is it? No, save by Fairy. What a stop. And now both players are rushing back into position. You know, there's an element of interference there as Fairy Peak got in the way of Flakes, who was trying to make an open net rebound happen after the kickoff. There's also just an element of Flakes maybe not getting there in time. He thought he had a goal for sure in that exchange. 30 seconds left. Fairy Peak takes the ball to the left to grab 100 boost. He's going to volley it towards the top corner. Flakes with a good save. 20 seconds left, and it's Fairy Peak circling the edge of the box. He has a good angle to work with here. Tries to go for the mind game, but Flakes comes in. Solid and true. Another attack coming in for Fairy. This time he absorbs Flakes' challenge. It's wide open. Fairy Peak puts it in. And he leads by 1 with 7 seconds to go. Flakes was trying to hang on. But he got a bit panicky at the end there. Went in for the challenge instead of staying in goal, and it did not pay off. Flakes' last second shot gets saved. And that will be Game 4 for Fairy.
What a game that was! Fairy Peak overturns a 2-goal deficit to avoid giving Flakes 3 match points. Despite an incredibly open start to the game, Flakes seemed to get caught in defense in the last minute. But we end up looking at the demo and kickoff save from Fairy as the turning point in this series. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shogun, an association with GifYourGame. It is once again time to rank your top 10 goals of the week. Now let's set the scene. You're 1-0 down and need to make a statement that you're not going to simply roll over. Well, Mimfifi certainly delivered that statement. Now, starting on your opponent is usually reserved for early game or when it's garbage time, but for Finnard, overtime is his time. Up next, and with a tribute to Jane-Abs, is this cannonball from Equiferus. Files is going to take the ball full court for our next play with a beautiful turtle flick. And staying on topic with Turtle Flicks is Andrewzom, who is styling on his opponent with his own Turtle Flick before turning it in. Now this next play is going to look like it got away from Haz, but as far as he's concerned, it's all simply calculated. Now there's many ways to recover from a play that didn't quite go how you wanted, and Steven Pedersen's favoured way is to turn into a road roller. We've got our angled shot of the week next with Negative, who simply couldn't have placed this any better. Now 20 seconds left and you're down by 1. Sure, go for a flip reset. I'm just as mad as I am impressed. But this week's winner is Trex, with a monumental buzzer beater that required complete precision to pull off. Congratulations to Trex on winning this week's $100 prize. And if you'd like to be in a chance of winning, all you have to do is submit your goal to the Goal of the Week channel on the GifYourGame Discord. I am Mega Shogun, and I'll see you next week.
All tied up in the series, Flakes and Fairy Peak have turned a best of 7 into a best of 3. It has been a very interesting one. Flakes has licked every piece a match for Fairy Peak today. There's not many players who have been able to do that in the past in Rocket League 1v1. Especially not when there's money on the line now. Flakes has got a good start to this game. Repels Fairy Peak's first attack, and he gets a goal as he comes back around with boost and an infield dribble. You could see Fairy Peak coming in here, and it was a bit of a side-on challenge from Fairy. He had the option to fake at that range, but decided to dive in. Flakes does just get it past him. That's not a lot of power on the kickoff goal attempt by Fairy. In fact, Flakes is just going to bring it down, and Fairy Peak's looking really aggressive from close range. I don't know if this is going to pay off. He doesn't have a lot of boost, but Flakes dives in and doesn't make contact to the ball. Now Fairy Peak has an advantage. Very interesting play there by Fairy. Sticking around when Flakes was really expecting him to back off. Fairy Peak re-grabs the boost as it spawns. This time Flakes comes out with a solid 50-50. And mind games Fairy Peak not once but twice. Flakes 2-0. And Fairy Peak made to look a bit silly here. He dives in for the block, doesn't make contact, and then backflips for another attempt to block and whiffs yet again. Flakes just sitting back and watching Fairy Peak flop around. With 2 minutes, or rather 1 minute into the match, he has a 2-goal lead. Fairy Peak has to run back and try this one again. He's failed his bounce dribble. It would be very unlike Fairy to be shaken or rattled by a mind game play like that. A lot of other players, when they concede a goal, they have to try and refocus, but Fairy Peak seems to always be focused. It doesn't matter what's happening. Very difficult to get out of the zone. Rip a wall shot. Fairy Peak thinking about it. He knows Flakes has got his eye on him, and he's ready to run back and save any shots that could be going long. Flakes has just shut down Fairy Peak's challenge, or his dribble rather, so easily. I think he's got a big advantage being behind the ball there. Fairy Peak, by dribbling straight at Fairy, has not really given himself too many options. Straight at Flakes rather, he's not giving himself too many options as to how to get the ball round him. Flakes with a very deceptive approach. Now he's beaten Fairy to the ball yet again. The speed for Flakes in the midfield starting to give him so many goals. That's a 4-goal lead with 3 minutes left in the match. Flakes stays solid. It's a fantastic kickoff. He actually had 26 boosts left over after that one. He's hit the bar not once but twice, but Flakes backflips the rebound and makes it 5-0. Fairy Peak's been mind gamed yet again. So he was expecting Flakes to dodge into this one, not dodge away from it. Flakes playing on another level here. He's really putting some pressure on the best 1v1 player in the world. 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. Fairy Peak's going straight at Flakes, but this time he finds an angle to the top corner. Flakes is just standing still. He had no idea how to save and how to answer a flick like that. Fairy Peak might just be the best flicker of the ball from close range. In a long card, there's a lot of Octane players who can recreate the kind of accuracy and power that Fairy Peak generates, but not many players in longer cars can hit the ball as accurately as Fairy can from a close range flick. 20 seconds, above 2 minutes left in this one. Flakes still looking very solid. Fairy Peak tries to trip him up on the landing, but not going to get any of that done. And Flakes just waiting on the back for the boost to respawn. Early turnaround by Fairy Peak though. Will it net him a goal? Looks like it will, as he sat on top of Flakes as he landed. Flakes got completely surprised here by Fairy Peak turning early to challenge in the midfield, but he shouldn't be too surprised. This is something that we've seen from Fairy in the past. When he's trailing by lots of goals, he starts to play more aggressively, and you know that can sometimes lead to games that are pretty one-sided against him, but a lot of the time it gives him chances to close the score gap, and this time it will just lead to a goal for Flakes as Fairy misses the contest. But you can bet that Fairy Peak's going to continue to do this. He's not going to give Flakes any time on the ball. He wants to play his win condition, try to create as many goal-scoring opportunities as he can. 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Now Flakes has to back off. Fairy Peak has a bit of space to work with. He's double jumped and not able to catch up to the ball, so there's no chance of getting a bump onto Flakes, who is easily saving the ball. Flakes on the counter-attack almost slots it in the back post, but Fairy Peak does get saved by the upright. Fairy Peak trying to create a shooting angle here, but Flakes isn't making it easy for him. Fairy Peak just sits back and lets Flakes hit it at him though. What a read by Fairy. You know, Flakes might have had his number earlier in the game with the mind games, but that is a phenomenal read. Flakes expecting a 50-50, but Fairy Peak just fades away and lets Flakes hit it right at him. 3 goals in it, 1 minute and 9 seconds remaining. Flakes looking for a fast goal. Rebound is slow. Fairy Peak is going to take control on the goal line. And he's got a quick counter-attack. The volley is a miss though for Fairy, so is the demo attempt that followed. And Flakes will punish him. And that might be the game for Flakes. It's a really difficult margin to be coming back from. Flakes has had more boost saved up in the tank after the majority of these kickoffs that have been happening. So he's usually winning the race to the ball if it looks like it's a 50-50 split who's getting there first. And Fairy Peak's just own goal on a kickoff. I think he knew that there was no way to stop Flakes from scoring, so he put it in himself just to give himself more time on the next kickoff. So if he is going to come back here, he has to be scoring very, very quickly. He's got 1 back, 30 seconds remaining. Fairy Peak needs 4. If anyone could do it, it would be Fairy, but even the great Frenchman might struggle. He will certainly struggle with such a deficit to come back from. So far, he's not getting enough goals as the seconds go by. And then the miss on the demo on the back wall will surely secure this game for Flakes. Fairy Peak looking for 1 more, gets 1 more, but now there's only 12 seconds left. There's still 3 goals in it. I think Flakes was messing around there at the end a little bit. Fairy Peak does win 1 kickoff. He's still got it mathematically possible, but he has to score. And he won't score. Flakes with the save and the game win. And now a lead in the series, 3 games to 2.
After how Game 4 finished, Flakes will be thankful to have put this game mostly out of reach so quickly. Flakes continues to mix up his offensive shot timing, and his average boost amount is still reasonably high, making him hard to maul in the way Fairy would have needed in order to mount a comeback.
Game 6. Flakes has a chance here to upset Fairy and be the first other champion of the LOR games besides Fairy Peak, and that's 1-0. Flakes forces it in. Fairy Peak was trying to get as much power on the ball there, but Flakes was coming straight at it. Several impacts, and it's a 1-0 lead. And Fairy Peak steadied the ship, which is really shaking right now. It's a boost miss for Fairy. Flakes will be glad to see that. Looks like Fairy Peak will be equalizing after Flakes' challenge. It was a bit too high on the ball. He bounced over it at that time. Now Fairy Peak's right back in it. The series hasn't had too many uncontested kickoff goals, but it has a lot of very strong kickoff possessions. And here's another one for Fairy Peak. He's got Flakes exactly where he wants him, and he's going to force it under him again. Flakes had no idea how to answer Fairy Peak here. That's not the first time this series Fairy Peak's managed to squash it under him with a low 50-50 after faking a flake. 2-1 Fairy. Flakes has a chance on the kickoff, and it will be an unanswered kickoff goal. Flakes ties things up with. These are quite similar plays though, even though Fairy had to work more for his goal on the face-off. Or after the face-off rather. Just as likely to end up as a goal. He had such a strong possession play. Flakes tries to drop the ball underneath Fairy, but Fairy Peak does stay low enough in the challenge. Now he's got Flakes in the back foot, flicks it close range into the roof of the net, and it's just quintessential Fairy Peak once again. These close range flicks almost never hit the crossbar for him. Of course, if they would, that would give Flakes a pretty easy counter attack. Fairy Peak's found a way to be exceptionally consistent with them. 3-2 now. Flakes decides to backflip challenge. It's a bit risky, but it does pay off. He'll get a boost steal out of it. He's going to try and turn this into a goal. Fairy Peak's going to run the boost, or run the ball rather, into the boost on the far side. Just wants to level out that momentary disadvantage. Fairy Peak gets a boost steal after flicking the ball high over Flakes' net. Flakes is going to respond with a hard clear, but every single boost pad, big and small, was stolen on the side of the field that Fairy Peak just retreated down. Now he is going to try and get a bit more of an angle dribble started. Another mind game for Fairy. Flakes is gone. Fairy Peak misses the open net. Flakes puts it in for him. Flakes was just diving in, trying to get back and interfere with the play, but Fairy Peak missed the shot and it turned into a perfect pass. I don't know what on earth Fairy was thinking as he missed this one. But he does get the goal either way. 4-2 now, and another strong kickoff play. Fairy lets it bounce not once but twice to go low. And after a couple of pops, Fairy Peak makes it 5, and he slow played that one to perfection. I think most players would just shoot on the first bounce there. Not the first, then definitely the second, but Fairy Peak knows that Flakes is very good at saving that type of shot. He tries to play it a little bit differently. Catches Flakes off guard. Flakes can't get it past Fairy on the counter. 5-2. Favour of the Frenchman as he looks to equalise the series, which has already had enough from Flakes, so I think earned the respect of many people who are watching back home. Flakes does sneak into the boost grab. What a play after passing it to himself as he saves Fairy Peak's shot. Flakes nips into the corner and just wins the race to the corner boost. Interesting kickoff that Flakes does with this delayed dodge at the ball, or with his car rather. Ends up dodging into the ball for the face-off in a pretty similar way to the conventional method. The approach is a bit more efficient. Fairy Peak absorbs another 50-50, makes it 6-3. Flakes is not having a good time challenging Fairy Peak in game 6. Every time he challenges, Fairy Peak seems to come out with ball control. With just over 2 minutes left, he's doubled Flake's score. Another kickoff win for Fairy. Ball rolls back into his corner. Flakes is just posturing, but no real threat of putting in a challenge. Fairy Peak knows that, and he's just trying to keep the ball as close to him as possible. Love that from Flakes, hiding inside the near post, because you don't get transparent goalposts from the offensive perspective. That's a defender's advantage, and Flakes has used it well to surprise Fairy Peak, perhaps. Great flick by Flakes. He's sidewinded into this one and found an angle that Fairy could not answer. Just sneaks it by the challenge before Fairy Peak can make contact. We do have a 2-goal lead for Fairy, 1 minute and 40 on the clock. Fairy Peak takes control once again. Almost every single time the Fairy's in that side of the field position with the option to go for an off-the-wall play. He just brings the ball in field, but this time Flakes with a demo and the clean counter. Open net has been secured, and it's a 1-goal game again. Flakes on the comeback trail, trying to lock up this series in 6. He doesn't want to go to game 7, but Fairy Peak might be forcing him there. That's almost another goal for Fairy. Flakes quickly counters, And he might have just done what Fairy Peak always does to everybody else, but it's a save by Fairy. And a quick recovery to retake control of the ball. Flakes has a huge boost advantage though, and he's using that to pressure Fairy. Try and get him into submission. He's got the infield dribble past him, and there is the equalizer. Flakes has closed the gap. And Fairy Peak is not having success with his challenges. A series where both players have looked pretty solid defensively. The challenges are just not working. In this game 6, now Fairy Peak answers with a kickoff goal. It's 52 seconds left. 1 goal in it. Heartbreak there for Flakes after working so hard for the equalizer to lose not one but 2 kickoff goals. Fairy Peak is back in front by a couple. Flakes has got to be scratching his head there. He's right back where he was a minute ago. A chance to cut the lead in half, but the crossbar will save the shot for Fairy. This little mind game there by Flakes. He's looped around the ball. And he will aerial shot into the crossbar again. 2 crossbar shots for Flakes. He has to be testing Fairy by putting these on target if he's going to have any chance of winning this game. Counter-attack is quick though. He bumps Fairy out of the way. Flakes gets a 7th goal. Fairy Peak's lead looking not safe once again. Great contact there by Flakes just to guarantee that the ball would reach the net in time. Fairy Peak will win the kickoff and assume control of the ball. Is he going to give Flakes any chance to attack him in the final 10 seconds? He's not even shooting here because he doesn't want to give Flakes the ball. Fairy Peak playing a very controlled final 10 seconds, and all he needs is the ground to help him out here, and he will find it. Fairy Peak ties up the series.
Well, it appears that defense is dead after what turned into a shootout between these two titans. For Game 7 worth $1,000 up next, the next match will be all about controlling nerves and controlling the ball. With both players attacking so well, you don't want to get caught in defense.
Final match of the LOR games. Flakes is taking Fairy Peak all the way, but he needs one more, or else he will go home with nothing, and it'll be Fairy Peak coming back again next week to defend his title once more. Flakes has played a fantastic series so far. It's really forced Fairy Peak to play his best, and even getting him to Game 7 is an achievement in itself. Go one further. Flakes looks like he's going to open the scoring here. The ball does dip underneath the crossbar. That's an airball shot from Flakes. It barely beats Fairy to the punch and puts him 1 goal in front. How will Fairy Peak respond? He's had a good conversion rate on his kickoff pressure plays so far this series. It's all about those dribbles though for Fairy. If he can manage to get Flakes on the wrong foot enough times, I think he's got a good chance. That's a pretty good shot by Fairy to equalise. Flakes not expecting him to go up for that one from such a tight angle, but Fairy will, and he will score. Flakes with a chance on this face-off to start something. Both players, plenty boost, and the ball's in a pretty safe location for Fairy, even though it's close to his goal. Nothing to be worried about. There's no shooting angle for Flakes. Now we've got the same thing at the other end of the field. Fairy Peak has got Flakes in the corner, but it doesn't really scare Flakes too much. He knows that there's no way that Fairy Peak can shoot from here, and he just lets Fairy pass the ball to him. He's back in front by 1. Whole minute gone already of the final game of the series. Fairy Peak now takes control. He's got Flakes at the far post. This time Flakes does ball chase. He remembers, I'm sure, that last time that Fairy Peak had him in that position, he just slow played and popped it twice and got a far post goal. This time, Fairy Peak looking to slow play, gets shut down. Is he going to try slow play yet again? It looks like he will. It's dangerous over Flakes as Fairy Peak can see him. He's not hiding behind the ball this time. Time to flicker the shot to perfection. It's a really good save there by Flakes. Any of these balls, even if it does look like they're going to come off the crossbar, Flakes wants to get a touch on it anyway in case it bounces back out and Fairy can rebound. He's done well here. Holding on to 32 boosts is also going to give him a chance to counter-attack, and somehow he gets it past Fairy Peak and makes it 3-1. It looked like Fairy might have kept that one out, but it's Flakes. Takes a 2-goal lead in Game 7. Fairy Peak flicks one in for another perfect top corner kickoff goal. The way that he transitions the ball from the ground to the top of his car and then into the top shelf of the goal is really quite something. So consistent from Fairy. 2 minutes remain for him to find one more goal. Flakes is trying to get some kickoff goal revenge, but Fairy Peak saves the shot and also beats Flakes to the boost in the corner. Early challenge by Flakes, but he's gone a bit over the ball again. Fairy Peak's bump, however, might have helped Flakes with his recovery. Fairy Peak going to try again from distance, and he's going to succeed again. Flakes attempting an earlier challenge. Did not get in the way of the ball. It's a great angle change by Fairy as well. Had he gone straight forward, Flakes would have been in the way, but he got it past him into the bottom corner. Now at halftime, these players are inseparable. The only thing that is a difference between them is that Fairy Peak has more boost, and I think he's going to have the next chance to shoot. As Flakes tries to prevent that from happening. I think he might have done that as well, but he's got to be careful running out for this boost. He turns his back to Fairy. For him, Fairy Peak was not moving fast enough for that to be a clean demo, or else it would have just been a free goal for Fairy Peak. Flakes is just trying to be the one taking the flow of the play. He wants to choose the pace that they're playing at. He doesn't want to let Fairy Peak dictate it. So Fairy Peak is starting to slow things down every time he's on the ball. And then with the burst of pace, puts a shot on, which is very difficult to save. There it is again, Fairy Peak slows things down and accelerates into the play when he knows he has an opportunity. And Flakes concedes once again. A bit of a streak here for Fairy as he goes in front by 1. An incredible feat it would be to put together 4 LOR Games victories in a row against the best that Europe has to offer. So after beating them all in the league play of the Mindful Night 5K as well, Flakes has just equalised with a failed flick though. Fairy Peak really should be saving this one, but he backflipped by accident. That's a tie game, folks. 1 minute and 28 seconds left, and we are completely even in the series and in Game 7. Flakes needs a small touch here to prevent Fairy from shooting. Doesn't keep Fairy away from it too long, and the hook shot from Fairy is too good. 5-4, Fairy Peak finds the top corner. Flakes just left more of a spectator than a goalkeeper in that play. The ball's actually pinged so hard into Fairy Peak's corner that it's gone all the way back into Flakes' half now after a strong kickoff by Flakes. He's got the ball rolling across the goal here. This could be a hook shot for Flakes, but Fairy Peak closes the distance. It's a little bit careless by Flakes. I feel like he had more space to the right hand side of the field that he could have utilised, but he decided to turn early. And headlong into Fairy Peak. Still a goal in it. Still Fairy Peak in front. He's not giving Flakes any opportunities here. Flakes will pick up ball control in the back corner, but Fairy Peak shuts him down once again and surely rolls in the open net. Yes, he will. Fairy Peak in front by 2. And it just seems like all this has been completely wasted effort for Flakes. He's gone so close to beating Fairy. Is he going to be another win for best 1v1 player in the world? 26 seconds left. Fairy Peak on the ball, and that is bad news for Flakes. He might not even get another look at this. He's tried to recover and dish it in off the back wall, but he can't get there quick enough. 15 seconds. Flakes needs to pick up ball control right now, create an offensive opportunity. There it is, but it's not on target, and Flakes has only got 5 seconds now. It's quickly becoming a mathematical impossibility, and there it is. Fairy Peak wins yet another LOR Games. Make that 4 in a row as Flakes, who takes him to Game 7, drops in the final match.
Fairy Peak has his kickoff to thank for keeping it so close in the opening half of the game, before experience became the driving factor in the second. Flakes needed to hunt down a goal in the final minute, and Fairy did a great job of taking advantage of the rushed offense, shutting down shots before they'd even left Flakes' bumper. As for Flakes, he played a phenomenal series, outscoring Fairy and doing a great job of handling boost. He, like the rest of us, will be wondering what could have been if he just had the last minute of Game 4 be a little bit kinder to him. But for Fairy, he marches on to the next challenger, with $4,000 secured.